Howdy folks, and welcome to this week's episode of the Rochester Indie Musician Spotlight series. Just as a reminder, we're filming at Bop Shop Records this season. They've been very kind to let us film here. And just to let you know, located in Brighton, Bop Shop Records is your place for blues, jazz, and Americana in vinyl for the past 35 years. Joining me today is Kind of Kind, a three-piece band who's melding new ideas into the indie rock fabric. I thought that would be a good tagline for you guys. Joining me today, and their names are just according to their Facebook page anyway. Arjuna I Play Bass Baxter on MGMT, or he's playing bass. We have Nigel S.A. Blair on drums and vocals, and Dan P.A.M. Sweeny on guitar and vocals. Guys, thanks for joining me today.
Dude,
thanks for having us.
Yeah, I was going to say, this is going to be a lot of fun already. I'm glad this group's got a lot of personality. So, let's start this off. Your Facebook page mentions that you came from a lot of different parts of the world. So if you could tell us, kind of just go down the line here and tell us where you're from and and then at the end tell us how you met up in Rochester.
well, yeah, I mean, Dan and I are mostly from the same place, but I've moved around a lot. I was born in Gates, so on the other side of town, and then I moved down to Georgia. Okay. And then once I came back up in the 7th grade, that's when I met Dan, because I moved to Irondequoit.
All right, so you're originally from Irondequoit?
No, I was born in Kenosha, Wisconsin.
All right, woo! We're getting all over the place, man. Yeah.
So, about, 2001, we moved up to Irondequoit.
Yeah.
Been here ever since.
Howdy, I'm from Virginia.
I say howdy, and I'm from Pittsburgh, so I don't know how regional that is.
I don't know. I grew up in Northern Virginia. I like music, so when I studied a little bit of classical music and heard about Eastman School of Music, pretty cool reputation. I heard about garbage plates and harsh winters too. So when I got in, I was like, this is the one.
Yeah.
And it's weird, I'm a classical kid, but like most of my time in high school was spent on guitars and bass guitars.
Yeah.
So I'd go play like jazz to the best of my ability, or rock and roll, which is what I grew up with. And I'd just play around in gigs. And Nigel saw me at a show almost 2 years ago to the day, maybe 2 years and a month or two, playing in a surf rock band called the Huckleberry Finns, which was a fun group. And it was just like Nigel then saw me again. I was playing at Water Street in this band called Malia. I was just subbing and like doing some freelance work. And he happened to see me doing a rehearsal there. And we just reconnected. He was like, hey, we're looking for a bass player. Do you play bass? And I was like, do you want to play bass? I was like, yeah, I could do that.
Yeah, I was like, dude, well, here's the thing. You were the only one who could have played bass.
Stop.
No, really. I mean, you're literally the only one who, like, had the chops.
Thanks, baby.
So when you two, Nigel, when you saw Arjun play, you knew that he was the one. I had to have him. That's when you brought Dan along to...
Dan and I were actually... well, it's actually kind of a funny story. So I was in an experimental punk band for a little bit, and then that was kind of like falling apart, just because some of the members weren't that committed, et cetera, et cetera. And as I was kind of phasing out, Dan was looking to play, and I was like saying like, hey man, I would definitely be willing to play. Like, we like the similar types of music, we vibe really well. And then he had filled in. Did you play bass or did you play guitar for one of the SFI gigs?
I played both bass.
So he was part of that for like a show, and then after that, our buddy Hayden, who's now in a project called Wow What a Weekend, he was in playing bass for the indie project that we were starting, just the three of us. And he kind of was he just kind of was like slightly disagreeing with the direction. He kind of wasn't feeling that passionate about it, so he kind of dropped out. And so we were playing as a two-piece for a while, and I was saying like, look, our music's like really technical, our music's has a lot of different like time signatures and a lot of different vibes. I was saying like, I know a guy
right
who can hang, because we were looking. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Do you remember that I'm not even gonna bring his name up in this interview, but do you remember the guy that was so bad?
I remember the stories, man. I don't want to know the name. That's Voldemort status. You don't touch that.
The second track we're gonna play tonight took him 3 hours to learn. Just keep that in mind when we play.
I mean, like, I remember when I was approached by these guys, and like, you know, I remember hearing him. I had met him like 2 years ago. I hadn't seen him since, except that one time we reconnected.
Yeah.
And I was like, I remember he was a dope drummer. I wanted to play with him too. So when I had the chance, I was like, I don't know how free I am. You know, I'm a senior at Eastman, just about to graduate. I have a senior recital, and I got just, you know, life. But I was willing to take a risk and find something I really cared about. And honestly, this is my favorite band I've ever been in.
Yeah.
This is the big one for me.
So you guys, I mean, it seems like you're really cohesive, but I'm noticing kind of a difference in formal training versus not formal training. And a lot of bands are formed that way. Well, Nigel, you mentioned that when you two were kind of a duo, a lot of your music was kind of more technical and was in wonky time signatures. So, if any of you guys want to comment on this? How did you balance one person having formal training and the other guys not having formal training? Was this like a barrier to entry? Was it tough starting off? Like, what was that like?
It probably made it really easy for when I just came in. It was just like, this guy knew how to learn it. Like, yeah. Okay.
I mean, he knew how to learn the parts without like me actually telling him the notes and like what chords. I mean, it took me some time to like actually figure out like what I was playing, and like I could tell him like we were switching to this, or like we were going to this time signature, we were going to this like chord. But you know, I think
it kind of worked out.
Yeah.
My favorite things when we're writing music or we're working on old stuff, or in the beginning when I was relearning their material, my favorite things would be, hey, can you just loop those chords for like 8 hours? And I'm not going to think theoretically. I'm not going to think training-wise.
Right, getting outside the dots a little bit.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's just like, hey, I'm going to create the most fun part I can, and just be stupid with it. Just get silly. And sometimes I'll go extreme, sometimes I'll go under, and then I'll find something that I finally like after like about 10 to 20 minutes.
So, I mean, this seems like a perfect formula for the unique sound that you guys have.
Yeah.
And we mentioned this at the Open, how even though you guys seem to jive with the label indie rock, so many groups are doing that now that it's watered down. Like, what does that really mean anymore? But as soon as you turn these guys on, you're like, oh, this is indie rock. It's quirky, it's authentic, but it's still well crafted. It's not just dudes doing whatever. So when you guys first got together, even though this sounded pretty loose, was this type of sound an active goal, or did this just sort of happen when you started playing?
These two guys.
Well, I would say, I mean, because we were writing, because half the songs we were writing, we had some songs where that Hayden was contributing, like when we first started out, and then some songs that Dan was like in the process of writing, and then once Hayden sort of like formally
and Hayden
left,
was a part of the original duo before.
But yeah, we technically, yeah. I mean, we used to practice at his place, and we actually came up with the name at his place. So we did. You remember that?
I heard.
But yeah, I mean, so we were.
I came up with it in my basement, though.
But I'm saying, like, we were like messing around with a bunch of different sounds, and then once we started actually once Dan and I started practicing in his basement, he was sort of like showing me some of the newer stuff he had written. It was like maybe like a couple weeks after Hayden had left, and I was like, oh man, and then we had heard that was
great, man. That was censorship.
and we had heard, and then right around the time we were forming, Chan's Grow had come out, and then that just changed everything, honestly.
So when we became friends, was just like, hey, do you want to play a Chan song? When they said that, and I was like, yes! There's nothing I want more than that right now. That was my favorite record of 15, and I own it on limited edition vinyl. I play that whenever I can.
So what's the compositional process for you guys then, as a whole? How do you come up with new material? You mentioned looping the same chord, making fun parts. What's the process?
The new stuff has been interesting because with me in the mix this time, we have, instead of just 2 people writing, it's 3, and a lot of it's coming from me. Like this new record we're working on, which we have no name for, no release date for.
We'll plug this right quick. You guys just had your first full-length release come out in May of this past year. Droplets. You can catch it, and please buy it on Bandcamp. Yeah,
good one.
I know, man.
It's free on Bandcamp.
Okay.
Buy it off iTunes.
Woo!
Okay, yeah.
We trying to hustle. But with this we're already working on a new record. We've got, songwriting-wise, I'd say like 98% complete. With what we can do before we go into the record, the studio. It's just like narrowing some stuff down and bringing in some utilities. With this new record, I've had some ideas of like bringing in a little bit of organ. We bought a $40 Hammond organ off of Matt Battle from Oh Man It's So, a good buddy of ours, a good buddy of Angelin's. And we've got some horns on one track, and so it's really been interesting because a lot of music I'm listening to these days are like kind of like weird modern jazz. Like I'm listening to a lot of Yannick Gwizdala, Thundercat, of course, the boy among boys. And I'm just really now just getting into people like Tigran Hanmayason, can't say his last name, I've only read it, and stuff like that. And it's just been like, that's the things I'm bringing to the table. And then Dan and Nigel have amazing music I don't even know about, and it's just been...
I mean, I think it was actually kind of interesting because our last record has like a lot of... there's like a lot of in our first record. There's like a lot of progressive elements, and like there's some like indie flourishes here and there, and that kind of thing. But with this new record, we sort of like consolidated a lot of like what we were exploring on the first record, and so like some of the indie, some of the more indie sounding tracks, some of the jazzier tracks, some of the more progressive tracks. Now that kind of sound is almost spread clean throughout every track.
So it's a refining of the process. So when you listen to the first album, I wrote down the word spectrum.
Yeah.
I mean, you listen to it and it's one thing. It's a thing. You can kind of put your finger on it, but it covers a wide range of stuff. So in this one, you're looking to refine.
It's more of, I think, the cumulative sound of the group.
Right.
This is going to be a lot of fun, and it's probably, I think, the greatest thing I've worked on in terms of size and length.
Well, one of the guys you mention all the time, you guys, is you seem to have so much fun together. You talk about how much fun this band is, how you all work together, and it has been on full display. Well, close to full display. Your guys' chemistry and sense of humor, and it's really and it's really cool to see. So how do you guys maintain that? Because you're still working hard. You're not.
I think. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead, please.
I think the trick is that we tell each other that we love each other after each practice.
And gig and before.
Yeah, we just keep the love and positivity flowing.
Yeah, I mean, like even if we have like a disagreements, I mean, a lot of us are just we're really good at just like hashing stuff out like as soon as it arrives. Like communication is like probably like the biggest probably the biggest thing. I mean, all of us, we chat every day, on Facebook or whatever. Just even if we're not even talking about the record, we'll just like post a meme in the group chat or something like that.
And post a new song, the new Thundercat single.
So this really comes through on their Facebook page. You guys have a great sense of humor. It comes through on your social media. So I would encourage you guys to check that out. Just search Kind of Kind on Facebook. They have links to all of their other. You have a Twitter account, so you can check that out there. You can find their
Twitter account?
Yeah, we got Twitter.
Shameless plug. Check the Tumblr. Check our Tumblr. I'm about to update it soon.
Guys, I've never made a single post on social media.
Check the Tumblr. We got high quality photos.
Oh,
And check the Tumblr. Yeah,
So,
for sure.
While that just about wraps it up, guys. That was pretty painless. So
Ditto.
you guys can check out Kind of Kind. You almost got me. You guys can check out Kind of Kind next. They're playing at the Buddha Pub. Is that right?
Yeah. On the Wedge.
Yep. September
With,
10th.
Megalodonus.
And
Continental Drift.
oh, he's got it.
I like that.
So that's when you guys can check out Kind of Kind next, and that'll just about do it. These great guys will give us a send-off with some killer tunes. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time on the Rochester Indie Musician Spotlight.
Yes, you can say that I was so obsessed with your hair dropped out on my chest. I was so attached to you. I was so attached to you. Wait, baby. Da I can't be the one that holds you down. Whoa, trust, no, it's all for show. That constant state of happiness I still haven't found. Whoa, but I love you, and I'll let you go. But I hope to see your face at the back